Movement is a change in posture or position of a body part of a living organism. And when this movement is associated with the change in position or location of the or the individual, this is called locomotion. Now, in case of single cell organisms like the amoeba, the movement is achieved or the locomotion is achieved by means of the cellular projections called the pseudopodia. These are made by extending their cytoplasm to a particular direction, which is all because of the two component of their cytoplasm called the gel and the sol, depending on their viscosity, which push each other, resulting in formation of this false feet. The outer sol first extend outward, forming this pseudopodia, which then is swallowed by the gel towards the sol, which leads to the extension of the entire cell towards that particular direction where the pseudopodia has extended. This kind of movement helps in the amoeba to move at a particular direction where the pseudopodia has been protruded. Now, this same mechanism can be seen in the case of macrophages inside the human body also, and similar cells like that. Now, a similar kind of process can also be noticed in case of certain higher organisms, the cells of certain higher organisms, where the same thing is achieved by means of actin filaments present inside. In that case, this entire thing is called the lamellipodium instead of pseudopodium. Now, in case of other organisms like microorganisms like Pseudomonas or Vibrio, we find there are hair-like projections from their cell called the cilia and flagella, which are responsible for the movement. Where the flagella they show propeller-like motion, and the cilia, on the other hand, shows a bitting motion, which leads to movement of the entire or helps in the locomotion of the entire cell towards the direction of the food. Now, this kind of things are all non-muscular kind of movements. But in case of human being, we find, or in the case of higher organisms, we find that the entire process is mediated by means of muscles. Muscles and the endoskeletal structure together help in the process of movement and locomotion. We find that they work in synchronicity with each other, and that leads to the motion, or that leads to the walking or the like running for the individual. Now, this process of walking or running is somewhat called controlled falling, because this process is like preventing, the muscles are preventing the body to fall forward, but by controlling their fall, the muscle is able to make the person or the individual move at a particular direction, or here in this case forward, by simply controlling the body's posture and position, and in a rhythmic manner they help the person to walk. Now, this can be easily observed when a baby is trying to walk for the first time. Because when you see the baby walking, it always seems like that the baby is about to fall, but it is controlling itself from falling down. Now, that is a perfect example for proving that walking is nothing but controlled falling. Muscles are specialized tissue of mesodermal origin, and they are composing of 40 to 50% of the total body weight of a human being. Now, these muscles, they are having special properties like contractibility, extensibility, elasticity, and is usually excited for its proper function. Now, muscles are of various forms and types that can be found in the human body. Each and every of the body part are having numerous different types of muscles present in them. This will be discussed in a separate video. In this video, we are going to learn about its general structure and form. Movement of body part is mediated by the skeletal and the muscular structure together. The skeletal gives the shape of the body. It acts as a lever supported by the fulcrum, and the effort is given out by the muscles, which by contracting moves the lever, the skeleton, which in turn helps in movement of that particular body part. As shown in this case of this arm, it is the biceps which is acting as the effort, helping in movement of the entire skeletal portion of the arm by the support of the elbow, and it helps in the movement of the arm or the contraction of the arm. Now, when we talk about the muscles, this muscle remains bound with the bone with the help of the tendon, which are the elastic connective tissues. Now, when we talk about the muscles, the bundle of the muscle are made up of this large bundle of fascicles which are bound together to form a single bunch. Now, this bunch is it can be found covered by a membrane called the epimysium, and inside this epimysium all these different fascicles, like large number of these fascicles, they are stacked together or packed together. Now each and every of the fascicles will be supplied with a large amount of blood, because as it requires high amount of oxygen to run its all metabolic processes and all, and it's always in a constant demand of ATP, because with this ATP only it can move its it can do its function and everything. So that's why the blood supply will be found at large to be there present with these muscle bundles. Now, the fascicles can be further divided into single like muscle fibers, which are again found to be packed together. And this fascicle, they also have its own membrane called the perimysium. And inside this perimysium, we'll find this muscle fibers, which are nothing but the muscular cells or the muscle cells are there present. And these muscle cells will have the motor neurons running through them, and each and every of the muscle cell will be seen to have a large number of nucleus, because the skeletal muscles are multinucleated, or it's called a synocytic type of cells, having a large number of nucleus together. And the neurons, the motor neurons, are there found to be there present to initiate its contraction or its processes, because it is this neuron which is responsible for sending the chemical impulse in terms of acetylcholine, which helps in leading, or which helps in the excitation of the muscles, which eventually will turn the muscle to, or which lead the muscle to contract. The muscle fibers will have its own membrane called the endomysium, and also the blood capillaries will be found running through it, because, as I said, it requires a high amount of blood supply and nutrients and oxygen. And this muscle fibers will also have a large number of sarcolemma present in it. Now, all of them, they work together for the process of contraction. In this ultrastructure, it is shown here that the sarcolemma, it covers the muscle fibers, and they have a large amount of mitochondria stacked within, because this mitochondria will be the one producing the ATP, the high amount of ATP that it requires. And the sarcoplasmic reticulum, a special kind of endoplasmic reticulum that will be found here, which is going to help in the process of its contraction or its protein contraction. That will be discussed on a later class video. Now, the muscle proteins mainly are of this actin and the myoglobin, which are responsible for its contraction. And these proteins are the one which are getting excited by those the neuron signal, and it ultimately leads to the contraction of the entire fiber, resulting in the contraction of the muscle. Here is a stained slide specimen of the muscle tissues, showing the different type of structures present there. The light and dark bands that can be noticed here are all because of the overlapping of the muscle proteins that are present inside, the actins and the myoglobins. And you can see that the nucleus are also present at large, surrounding the entire structure together. Now, all the function of the proteins, its structure and everything will be discussed on the later videos. Please tune in for the updates.